for like judgment. So if you're like,
Absolutely.
oh, they were found. Why I gotta go here with it?
Well, hold on, Payne. Before you do it, let me throw it to Hype, because that's why I said let's go ahead and just get started so we can capture his thought and then we can swing through more discussion on it. Not that we planned on starting here, but that's how life works around here, right?
Yeah.
And what I was saying, Hype, first of all, what's up, God? How are you? You doing all right?
I'm good, fellas. What's going on?
HT, hell, you at the crib again. Hey. You at the
We
crib
were
again.
we were talking in the chit chat beforehand about the good news that at least two of the people that were missing last week was found safe in their home with their family and loved ones.
Yep.
All praises due. Thank you, Lord, for allowing that to manifest itself in a way that's safe. And then I asked the boys, I said, how much is the community deserved of an explanation of how this story actually unfolded and the happenings involved and etc. The community, are we deserved something?
I think so. I don't know what they're deserving of per se, but if you deserve something when the news is bad, why not deserve something when the news isn't bad? You know what I mean? Like when shit hits the fan and it's like, oh, what happened and why did this happen and yada yada yada. It's like, whether that's right or wrong is one thing, but if there's an expectation when shit goes left, then there should be an expectation when it doesn't.
I just think it's a damn. I forgot to make the main graphic that says slippery slope. So I just think it's a very slippery slope because now
I love it.
You get into like I was about to say earlier, you get into a space where people can now be judgy. Like, oh, he was found safe and sound at a whorehouse. Like, why do we need to know where? Like, okay, he was found safe and sound. That's all. Okay, great. That's all I need. Like, that's all I need to hear.
That doesn't. Go ahead, Chef. I'm sorry.
Payne always comes up with like the craziest scenarios in which like you're fine. He said, a whorehouse, really, Payne? Like
but that's something people would judge him. Like, oh, what was he? Why was he? He's paying for it. Like, I mean, he was down.
I feel like you can't get into you can't control too much of that, right? Like you're gonna find judgment in everything,
right?
You know what I mean? Like he could have just been innocently somewhere, and then it's like, well, he should have been home. Like it's like, come on, you don't leave the house ever now, and it's like,
Listen,
you win some, you lose some.
Anytime you hit that send button on this thing, and whether you're posting about whatever it is you're looking for, whatever it is, you're subject to some sort of backlash, something when you post something about something. It's gonna happen regardless. So my thing is just to save myself from it. Just don't even no explanation. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you for all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's it. I'm just
you dudes, and so we've been dealing with this internally all week, right? We've been kind of going back and forth on this
for sure.
And I think that the landscape is strange. Like, I think what you're looking for, especially in missing person cases, is how can myself and my family avoid being in such a situation, right? Yeah. And so the more you know about the story, the more you can build a game plan to protect you and yours. Here's the example.
That means you should know that regardless, though.
No, not true. No. So
how to
here's a 13-year-old at Madison, right? Yep. I'm bringing Madison for the very specific reason that we talked about all week long internally. 13-year-old Madison, they're outside getting on the 23 bus, going to Mattapan, right?
28, not 23.
Pardon me.
Just saying.
It's been a decade.
I know.
But in that story, what is found is something happened and somebody pulled up on them at this location that was deemed to be very unsafe. Right? Okay. I'm glad to know that. So now when my child is in that location, hey, wait a minute. I now have a second thought. Take a bus from a different spot because it's a little bit safer. It's next to the police station. I don't want you to use that bus stop. It's the little things like that we can use as tools to avoid ourselves falling victim to some situations.
It's no different than the registry of offenders. You know what I mean? Like they're in your neighborhood. I imagine we'd like to know, right?
Sure.
I mean, we ain't all camera on it here, right?
You're stupid. You're stupid.
Oh, I want to listen.
You're stupid.
level 3, level 4 next
You're
door.
stupid.
I need to know that.
I think that's a totally different scenario, though. When you're talking about
having the information,
the scenario is different, sure, but the level of information that's required to give you that guidance of maybe I shouldn't be over that side of town, or maybe I shouldn't be lollygagging in this area. Right. It's just a matter of just having the information. Now, of course, every situation is going to be different, but if you know the information, you move different. You move better.
And even less, like we brought up Madison for a reason, right? Because it's up for obviously for those who are not in the Boston area. Madison Park High School is a vocational school, meaning that the children can often find themselves off-site learning trades of that matter, which is dope, right? But maybe as a parent of a child at a vocational school, you might have a second thought about, damn, is my freshman really ready for that journey? I'm not sure, right? Maybe that's part of, but that should be, the more information you have, the better equipped you are to make a decision moving forward. And that's all I'm saying. So in this case, if the parents came out and said, oh, my kid was going to Madison and that's why they left school at 10 o'clock, but they got picked up by some random person. Oh, that's information to know. That's all. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, because now you're not going to have random persons picking up people no more. Now you're going to have checks and balances on who's leaving and who's getting picked up and by who. Nobody could pick up Kayla from school unless they were one of 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that was I'm saying, but I'm sure that was put in place because of information from something that may have happened. And it sucks that something has to happen for like those things to be put in place, but it's kind of the nature of society.
And that never comes about if people like Payne go on social media. Thank you all for your help. Period. Nigga.
God bless you. Good night.
Yeah.
Straight Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons, man. Nah, I don't think so, man. You know what I mean? But something I want to talk about real quick with the little Dirk murder for hire thing going on. We talked to educating. So little Dirk has been jammed up by the feds for a murder for hire.
Little Dirk is a rapper, I'm assuming.
Little Dirk is a rapper from Chicago.
Where's he from? Chicago?
He's from Chicago.
See how information is going to begin to unfold here? Watch what happens. Go ahead, Chicago. I'm listening.
5 of his guys were picked up from the feds, or picked up by the feds. And Dirk was arrested not too long after for a conspiracy for murder for hire, going back to what's up, Doug? What's going on?
I'm just going down my checklist, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess it was a beef. It was a beef with a rapper named Quando Rondo, who's from Georgia.
He's allegedly involved in
what happened with King Von.
Yeah.
And so that
where's King Von from?
King Von is from Chicago.
Got it.
What more checks off?
I don't know these guys.
So okay. Yeah, so it was a beef outside of Atlanta club when Vaughn was killed, and they're saying that Quando Rondo has something to do with that. And I guess the retaliation for this was Dirk reportedly hiring some people to kill Quando Rondo, but they end up killing his cousin instead. Yeah, You know what I mean? So I'm saying all that to say, like, you know, you see people out there, free Dirk, free Schmirk, whatever it is they call them.
Oh,
I know we talked about this. I know we talked about this internally.
Let me get you right real quick, man.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. So man, 50 grand, you're always on point. So that's what I was gonna ask. Like, you know, we don't have that much time left, 60 minutes to go. But like, does the hood glorify loser shit?
I absolutely believe so.
Let's go around the room then, real quick. Let's go around the room. So, Payne, start off with you.
Yeah, I absolutely believe so. While the hood does support a lot of good stuff, a lot of loser shit is glorified. Like this shit here, like just killing ops and all this stuff. Like this is not Call of Duty. Like people do not respawn. You're killing somebody. You're affecting families. You're causing trauma not just to that person, like physically. You're causing mental and emotional trauma to generations after him if they have children, their families, their mothers, and stuff like that. And the hood glorifies that shit. That's why this drill music shit and all this shit is like so big now, because like people are glorifying it and taking it to heart. Like, oh, he's shooting. He got a Draco. Let me go get one. Like, nah, come on, man. Like, we do, and that's just one example. There's a lot of other like loser shit that the hood glorifies, but I'm not gonna be all negative because the hood glorifies a lot of good stuff just as much as negative.
Okay, Capo.
No, I don't agree.
Yeah,
I don't think they glorify enough good stuff.
I mean,
the scale, I don't think it's balanced at all. I think it's tipped in the negative because if it was tipped in the positive or if it was close to balanced, a lot of this negative wouldn't happen as much as it's happened.
I'll tell you what's happening here, Chef. You're talking to a guy from Melrose and a guy from Weymouth. So they're not real familiar with the hood, right?
That's a good point.
So let me just tell you, right? Like, I grew up in a Gallivan, right? And honestly, as a kid, I fucking loved the hood. Let me answer the question. The hood doesn't glorify loser shit. Okay. Losers glorify loser shit.
Church.
The problem with you saying that the hood does is that you negate the positive motherfuckers in the hood who are saying to do the right shit, but the other voices are so loud, they often get drowned out.
Where are those other voices?
Very true.
So, let me give you a great example. I told you I grew up at the Gallivan. Mitch was an outstanding voice in the hood. All Mitch cared about was basketball, right? Yo, like you kids, y'all doing this, come play some ball instead, right? Very loud in the hood. Left the hood and still went back, like, yo, let's go do this instead, right? But the other voices are loud. Those loser voices are loud in this motherfucker. The loser voices in the hood are louder than any place else in the world, right? That's a true statement. But there are motherfuckers in the hood who can help you find a filter if that's what you're looking for. These cats ain't looking for filters. They're looking to be accepted. They're looking to be part of something, and they are willing to do that by tying themselves to the loudest voices in the room.
But if the loser voices are louder, that just proves Hyde's point that the scales ain't balanced.
Well, I think it's what hood are you from, or what neighborhood are you from, and what type of people you have around you growing up too. I definitely think that matters. You know what I mean?
No, I think
overall,
definitely think that matters.
I don't
you think the negative voices are louder than the positives?
Overall, yeah.
I give you an example. There's not a phrase in the hood that is more profound or more accepted or more exercised than no snitching.
Why is that loser shit? You're tying that to loser shit?
If some loser shit's happening in the hood and everyone knows about it and no one says anything about it or no one tries to correct it, you're guilty by association.
I totally disagree. Jesus H. Christmas on a so
listen. I gave you the example earlier. I made a reference. I made a reference to that.
But Okay, so no snitching has a direct tie to your belief in police. Don't do that.
No. It's not only police. We've been taught since we were kids not to tell on nobody. It only got elevated when you started doing some real devious shit.
That's a great point. And that, I mean, yeah, that's
now what's the opposite of that statement?
Payne, hit the track. We're gonna stay right here.
Yeah.
Hey yo, Donut White, no muzzle. Sparring Minds live every Friday. Let's go. Look, it's Sparring Minds. If you don't know the name, look us up. You know it's all facts when you got Chef Maine cooking up a couple of brothers who know all about the struggle, black excellence. You know we just work hard and hustle. Whenever you want that urban talk, you know we keep it real. Mr. Maritime on the mic. Yeah, you know the deal is real life. Hotel High Tower bringing you the feel. DJ Payne, keep it 100. Matter of fact, keep it a mill. Let's go.
Episode 163.
Hey. Shout out to the good brother. Shout out to the good brother Sammy Little, who is enjoying the festivities and PR. You're having a great time right now. Shout out to the brother Little. We miss you, bro.
I've been seeing them plates they've been posting, man. They eating good down there.
Yeah,
definitely eating good.
I love it. 163. Show titles Bloodline. We're going to be diving into some discussion around family, man code, family code, do's and don'ts. We're going to dive into that. But we need to finish this other shit. because the truth of the matter is, you guys know I champion the hood all the time.
100%.
Right? And it's because I grew up at block parties and basketball on the crates and kick the can in the streets and Miss Ruby across the streets watching me when my mom was at work. And, you know, that's what I grew up with. You understand what I'm saying? The football in the backyard. That's my definition of the hood, right? Now, people from outside of it might be like, damn, like they're selling drugs in a dead end. There was just a shootout over there near the community center. That might be what y'all saw, right? But my experience there was not that, you know? And so I always stand up when people say, oh my God, the hood is full of losers and the hood loser shit happens. Nah, that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? And oftentimes, here's the most important part. People who grow up in those hoods, that's the only family they got. You see what I'm saying? So they respect that within that hood. That's why people care about their hoods, because that's auntie and uncle. That's the people who watched me after school. That's people who gave me a dog when I didn't have. That's what the culture is like in most hoods, right? Now again, Sparring Minds was pardon in, because in East Weymouth they didn't have things like this, right?
See, like, so I think we're mixing up promoting with glorifying, right? Because like one of the most popular hood nicknames is murder. That's glorifying loser shit. No matter how you put it. And I know a couple dudes whose nickname murder Mace, Killer Can. Like that's like, and I've known a couple dudes whose nicknames was murder from the hood. Like that's glorifying loser shit. If you think
so,
about
you just passed over Tay and Junior and skip right to murder, right? Like you just fucked them niggas.
No, but I'm just saying it's in the mix of glorifying loser shit.
So a certain nickname means that's what you're going for, and loser shit.
No, but why is that? But why is that a nickname in the hood?
So I remember a kid. I remember a kid who was nicknamed Killer because of what he did on the basketball court.
Right, and I thought that was for rapping. To be honest,
yeah, I killed the ball.
Idea. Yeah, I had no idea it was tied to actually killing.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't think that.
I don't know if they actually killed someone or not, but why is that a nickname? That's not a nickname anywhere else, but in the hood.
I think we're.
I still don't take that as loser shit though. I don't think that.
I think we're diluting the topic a tad. I think the question, we go back to the original question about does the hood glorify loser shit, to which the majority of us agree that it does.
We can make some examples.
Hustle identified the line between the hood versus losers. But again, my last point before we got started was there isn't another phrase that combats no snitching. So if the hood rallies around this term as an ideology, you have to define that. If it's not good, then what is it? It's bad.
So yeah, but Ant, I haven't lived in the hood in 30 years, right? I still very much believe in the concept of no snitching, because all it's saying is somehow we got to find a way to handle our problems in-house, because when them people come to solve the problems, things get exponentially worse for us.
Sure, of course, 100%. But now take that first half of your statement. Are there people in the hood going out of their way to do those things? Do we know that this is what's going on? We don't have those big mamas in the hood like they used to. You do some shit wrong, she's spanking you before you go home and get spanked by your moms. Those days is gone.
Yeah.
Those grandmas ain't coming outside no more. Because the code's gone. The respect is gone.
The only people that no snitching should apply to is people that are involved in that shit.
Exactly. But because they've made it such a...
But I feel like it does, though. I feel like that term only applies to people that are not in the game.
No, it should. And we as adults understand the difference. But now you have folks that blur the lines who don't live that life, know that some bad shit's going on, but they're afraid to say something because of retribution.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so that's why some of these daytime shootings or shootings when there were witnesses, now nobody's seen nothing. Y'all didn't have shit to do with that. Y'all didn't have shit to do with that. Y'all seen what happened, but no one seen nothing because, you know what I mean? So
meanwhile he's got 7 bodies, 6 of which could have been avoided if you said something the first time. It's pretty slow.
So, but how much of that is self-preservation too, right? Because the truth of the matter is, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just a postman that lives in the hood, right? I still live in this motherfucker. I still live here, right? So me going and talking to the Elroys, and this is what I saw. I have now put myself in direct line of retribution, as you said. This is just self-preservation. This is, Danae, shout to the queen. This is a 5-year-old in kindergarten going to the teacher and saying, hey, listen, Payne is bullying me, right? And the teacher says, Payne, stop it. You're being an asshole. Go sit down. Guess what happens in the playground?
You're being an asshole.
He's getting it again. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of this comes with a level of self-preservation.
That's a horrible example then. So he either gets bullied or he gets bullied more. He's still getting bullied. So where's the self-preservation in that?
If you're stuck in that environment, you have to learn to adapt to that environment.
So you got to get used to getting bullied, is what you're saying. Where's the self-preservation in that? He's 5 years old.
Okay. So what are you suggesting? Again, we're talking about the people who are in the environment, right? You're in the environment. Something is happening that includes you in some ways. What's your solution?
We had a conversation.
You want snitching. That's what you just did. You said that, and now what?
No,
exactly.
I'm not saying that.
That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying is, for sure. I want a level of accountability. If you take the level of accountability away, then we have what we have.
This is a good one.
Now, I'm not saying you need to go to the Elroys, but if you know murder's out here doing crazy, everybody in the hood need to be like, dog, you need to chill out. What are you doing? You want to call them OGs, you want to call them uncles, whatever it is, but the community need to rally around and say, yo, if you're going to keep doing this, you can't be around here like that. We got kids we trying to raise over here.
For sure.
Now, if that's not happening, you know what I mean? Like we all say, there's this meme that used to float around. It's like, one person can't do it alone, but you have a community of guys can stand up against whatever it is. It's the same situation. It's the same dichotomy here. However, and again, I haven't been in the hood for years, so maybe that's happening. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny it. But if the activity is repeated, it's telling me that maybe that activity that to prevent it isn't happening as much as we would like it to.
Okay, that's valid. That's valid. That's valid.
Yeah, Luis brings up. I promote peace. I promote and condone peace and prosperity. Check our kids. Absolutely. But now this is where the problem comes in, and we're getting a little long-winded on this topic. But this is where the problem comes in. At some point, parents started being like, "Don't say nothing to my kid." Now their kid's like, "Oh well, I can do whatever the fuck I want when she's not around."
And you need to say something to him.
Say nothing.
But see, now my energy's not going to your kid. Now my energy's coming to you. Has to.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, listen.
Why would you say that?
You're not in this you're not in this by yourself. We're in this together. If we want this to be what we want it to be, you need to do it. It is that fine line where it's like you're not telling somebody how to parent their child, but it's like whatever you're doing ain't working, bro, sis.
It's the village. It's the village. Everyone has villages, and what type of village do you have for your children to be a part of? You know what I'm saying? Do you have a positive village, or do you got a negative one? You know what I'm saying? That's what it really matters to at the end of the day. So I didn't mean to get us all long-winded on this conversation, but it was something that I want to bring to the crew. You know what I mean?
That's why we have this platform to have these conversations.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day is as simple as this. If you turn a blind eye to foolishness, you're just as guilty of the foolishness taking place.
For sure.
If you're not part of the problem, solution, you're part of the problem. Ain't that what they say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that, but
listen, I guess you can do it case by case, sure, but at the end of the day, there's got to be a level of accountability. If the parents ain't doing it to their kids, the community need to rally around that family.
Yeah. Lewis
is right. What do you need help? What do you need help with? What's going on that your kids out here running crazy?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Or again, you can have parents who know their kids is into some wild shit, don't say nothing at all, kind of like give them the green light to do it, and then like if something happens, they're like, "Oh, my baby."
But see, that's the shit that tightens my jaw, Chef. Right? That's and you guys hear me adamantly about this. For
sure.
Is some woman on social media? Oh my God, I can't believe my son got shot. Was your son in school when he got shot? No, he was in the streets. And wait a minute, your son was in the streets. What's he doing in the streets? Oh well, sometimes he be selling drugs, but I told him not to. Because, man, man,
yeah.
Your son is El Chapo.
That's what Easy said in the same game. My baby ain't never hurt nobody, but he still got smoked at Bebe's party because he was in the wrong place doing the wrong shit.
Doing the wrong shit.
He was.
And you knew he was there. Yeah. And where was all this energy then?
Yeah.
Right?
If you know you're
in intervention mode,
you can't be in denial. Like you can give your child the benefit of the doubt by all means, but you cannot be in denial. When you're in denial of shit, that's when kids are smart as shit. If you're in denial and your kid knows you're in denial that they can do no wrong no matter what, they're going to do wrong when you're not looking.
Yeah, fair to say. Yep, fair to say.
And then, we become, a black men podcast because all they do is talk negative about. We'll keep it 100 with you.
This ain't about just.
You should have been just as interactive in his life that you are on them social media posts.
This ain't about. We're not weeding out mothers here. We're weeding out any parent that turns a blind eye and knows their kid is doing. They may not even know. They may have an inkling, but they're just in denial that their kid can do any wrong.
Bullshit. They know 99% of the time you know what's good.
Sometimes
they get them absent days on the report card. They know what time it is.
But shit, I went to school with a thug that was on honor roll, and he never missed school. But we on the bus knew what he was doing. I'm sure his mother knew what the hell he was doing. You know what I mean? But like you have an inkling. Don't be in denial. You can give your child the benefit of the doubt. By all means, as a parent, that's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But you cannot be in denial. Like, oh, his clothes smell like weed. He must just be around friends that smell like weed, that smoke sometimes. It's not him.
Yeah, that's another level of denial. That's another level of denial.
But I've seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it.
So let me ask you this question. And watch what I do here, Chef. Peep this.
Mm-hmm.
So the father in this situation, he comes home, finds that his son has bricks in the closet. You did? Like on some distribution shit. Like this nigga's really outside, right? They've had talks about this. They've had discussions. Nigga, you can't be doing this shit in my crib. You shouldn't be doing this at all, right? Son's not listening. At what point does he cut the son off? Does he cut the son off? What does that future look like? Where this son is now doing what he's doing, disregarding my intentions. What does the story happen here as we tie into Bloodline?
Man, you gotta make some tough decisions. You gotta make some tough decisions.
How old is the kid again?
Let's call him 15.
Yeah, you gotta make a tough decision. Definitely. Maybe he need to go to boarding school or some shit like that. Get him away from the hood. Because you can't give up on him at that age, right? You can't give up on him, period. You know what I'm saying? Like you find some sort of resolution. And again, whether that's boarding school, getting them away from the environment or something different, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're saving a young person's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then again, like some people gotta learn the hard way too. It's tough. Like some people like are destined to not listen to the things that are being told to them and just are totally like, yo, I'm gonna do this my way, like regardless of what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man. I mean, I would think you would ship the kid off to some, boarding school or something, get him away from the hood at 15.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in that situation.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's super tough. You know what I mean? Because we're all parents here.
So understanding that. Understand first a couple things.
Yep.
I'm going to charge you your asshole. I get it. Fine, whatever. You've already failed your job. Let's start there. At 15, if you spent the last 15 years building an individual who thinks that selling drugs is the key to their future, you've already failed. Because never once during that 15 years did you convince this child, lay out a path for this child that success can be found in other ways. That was your job, right? Your core function as a parent is to lay out future ideology. What are we going to do later? That's your job. You didn't do that. So now you're scrambling at year 15 because he's chosen what he wants to do based on music videos and rap videos by King Von. Is that what his name? Lil Durk or something like that?
Oh, Durk is like, Little Durk is like what Jay-Z or like he to the young people of his generation. That's how some people like look at him and view him.
Okay. So now you've allowed Lil Durk to give your child life advice, right? And Lil Durk says, or we move drugs by the ton. Okay. So that's where he's going now. Either way, at this point, his journey ends in prison or death. Everybody knows the laws when you're playing in this environment. We all know what it to be true, right? So now we're talking about Bloodline. What are you going to do now? Is it your responsibility to continue on this journey until he dies? Because you've all said here today, I don't know if I can fix it because I spent the last 15 years fucking it up. Now what? Now what, Payne?
So I don't fully agree with what you're saying as far as people failing, because as an example, right? I've given my daughters the guidelines. I've shown them, you know, how I live. You know what I mean? I don't smoke. I don't drink. None of that. My daughters drink. Two of my daughters, well, one of them now, but they used to smoke weed. You know what I mean? Like, everything that I taught them, they're not doing everything I taught them because they have to learn on their own at some point. Now, your job is to step in and correct them, but as growing adults and teens, they're going to do whatever the hell they want to, but you have to provide that. It's like that you know, the bowling, when you put the guardrails up, you have to provide the guardrails so they don't end up in the fucking gutter. But who's to say they're not going to just walk up and throw the shit down the gutter any fucking way around the guardrails? You know what I mean? But you provided the guardrails to guide them down the lane. You know what I mean? So in some cases, you have to trust what you taught them and hope that, you know, it's stuck. So if I'm in this situation, my son's selling bricks, I'm either flushing the bricks or I'm putting them somewhere and I'm calling the police like, look, there's some bricks of coke at such and such an address. I happen to drive by. Click. And then I'm getting in his ass, pause, and we're going to handle it from there like, yo, that's not flying. This is what's expected of you. And this is how I raised you. That, I don't know what that is, but let that be the last time.
You've done nothing there, but damn near cost him his life. Because now he's still got to get that money back for the re-up. See, these are certain laws in these games, right? That you haven't helped this kid in the least. You know, you're trying to give him life lessons at home, and now he's in the hole $10,000 to some nigga. Because you called the cops and said, hey, I'm Good Samaritan, go to 5th and Main. Okay.
This reminds me of, and this is strictly a cinematic example, but for those of you who might be familiar with The Shy, Darnell was the father. I can't think of his son's name, but the son was the gun.
But that's the son
was running a barbecue joint, getting into all type of shit.
Yes.
His father wasn't around much because him and the moms and dad split and blah blah blah. But he came back and tried to make amends, and he seemed to be doing somewhat of a decent job. But by then, his son was 1 foot in, 1 foot out still.
Yeah, he was gone.
You know what I mean? But now his father's still there, trying to get that other foot out.
Yep.
Right. And you don't necessarily put their life in danger, but like, so I told him where the bricks are. Believe me, the conversation is had. Where'd you get it? Okay, that's who you got it from. Now I get in touch with dude, or if he tries to get in touch with my son, like, yo, where's my money? Like, yo, listen. I get on the phone like, yo, I turned it in. You know what I mean? So you can either leave him alone and forget about it, or I can let them know who you are.
Hey, what Disney Ariel princess? what land are you living in, my nigga? Where he's gonna say, "It's okay, sir. Don't worry about those 3 keys." What are you talking about, son?
What nigga is gonna want me to turn them in?
Yeah.
And honestly, and y'all know me. Like, come see me.
Shit.
He's got the rocket launcher in the trunk. He ain't worried about it.
You on thin ice there, brother.
So let's pivot to.
You're not having my son. You can take my life. You're not having my son's life.
Listen, y'all know Payne got the Tackleberry from a police academy arsenal in the
you
crib. So run down if you want to.
Run down if you want.
Run down if you want to. Whether you're not having my son's life physically, you're not having it financially. I'm not losing them to the street. So come see me or the police.
This reminds me of T.I. and ATL, that version, right?
Yep.
It was like, he's going up against Andre and having that situation. But that's one version of Bloodline and kind of someone in these relationships having to make a tough decision, right?
Yeah.
let's pivot to a different type of story. And I can paraphrase one that I have in my head that we talked about internally, which is basically there's a guy dating a young lady. And guys, I'm probably going to butcher this paraphrase. Sparring Minds listeners, give me a break on this one. I'm normally better equipped. But there's a guy dating a young lady who is like absolutely abusing her physically, Ike and Tina, big shades to work, this kind of time, right? But that's my cousin. Like that's my guy. We talk all the time. We play Madden every Wednesday and Thursday, right? Like that's, you know. I get this information. What do I do with that information, right? What is this something where I'm saying to him, yo, I know what's going on, knock it off, or you can count me out of your life. You dig? Like what happens in that kind of scenario? Do we as men have a responsibility to try to fix that? Or are we given the pardon to cut these people off, knowing that they're doing foul shit?
Wait, who's the cousin? The victim, or the one doing the damage?
The one doing the damage.
Yeah, you gotta pull him aside and pull his card, man.
Definitely. If y'all got that kind of relationship, you know what I mean, and y'all are super close like that, whatever the case may be, anytime you got a family member in that situation, you gotta pull them to the side. I
don't think the relationship matters so much. As a man, you tell another man you doing some foul shit, you need to relax.
Mm-hmm.
There's rules to doing certain things. You don't put your hands on women. You don't go messing with kids. Like there's certain, maybe the code is gone and it's blurred or whatever, but there's certain things you just weren't supposed to be doing. Period. Yeah. You want to go peddle this smack over here in the corner? All right, I ain't gonna say nothing. Whatever. But when you start harming women and kids,
right,
that's a problem.
Like even if you're like the male, so the guy doing the abusing is my cousin, and I'm no relation to the woman, I don't give a fuck. Wrong is wrong. You know what I mean?
Wrong is wrong, man.
Well, okay. So wait,
I gotta check you again on it now. Okay, you like hitting people? Square up. Let's go. Because it's my duty as your family to check you and beat your ass if you doing wrong like that. Like,
right.
Come on, man.
Yeah, because now I'm associated with it if I don't.
Mm-hmm. But okay, so but why is it condoning if you selling a little something, that's okay? Is that something cool too? Because
no, it's not cool. There's levels to it, sure. But
got you.
There was, like I said, there was a code. There's certain things you just don't do. Okay. You know what I mean?
No women,
so,
no children.
I mean, there was some codes were even more strict where they weren't selling that to their own people. You know what I mean?
Is there ever a part of this conversation where he is now cut off from you, from the family? Do we ever reach that level because of his actions? Yeah, we're going to give him hands the next time I hear about it. But all of us in this case, after the hands are delivered, get up, nigga, I love you. Go in the house and be better tomorrow. That's normally what's going to end up happening.
That's what should happen, yes.
Now, the real world is, here's the real world, guys. Not the Disney princess world that Payne was just living in a moment ago. The real world is, the minute I pick him up and pat him on his back and say, I love you, he going back in the house. And he's going to remember he got hands delivered to him first class. It might be a day or two, but he's going to take that back on the wife. Almost guaranteed, because these niggas have their nature.
Almost guaranteed. Yep.
So what's the repercussion? And see, Danae said it best. My question is, are we as individuals and then as a family cutting this nigga off? Yep. Since you don't know how to behave, you want an island.
Gotta be.
So
you should, but definitely someone isn't, like to Danae's point. Everyone in the family is not gonna feel that way. And there's gonna be some auntie or someone that's gonna feel a sympathetic side towards it and say, and justify in some way, shape, form, or fashion why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Payne.
My thing, no, it's cool. My thing with this particular situation is I'm scared to cut him off because now if I cut him off, what if he does worse? And now I don't know because I've cut him off. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta kind of like stay connected somehow with him without cutting him off, just to make sure this girl is okay. And sometimes you gotta step in and intervene, like jump over your cousin and get in the person's ear, like, yo, you need to leave. You don't need to be with him, and he damn sure don't deserve to be with you. And like, this isn't healthy. Like, you need to leave for your safety and for his, because I'm gonna keep fucking him up every time.
And well, you know, I couldn't let episode slide what I was saying. That slippery slope though, because this happens and she could still want to go back to him.
Yeah,
Unfortunately. True. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the
That's the thing. I feel like in some of those cases, you know, they say it with men, right? When they're in the midst of leaving their lady, that it's cheaper to keep her, right? I feel like there's a part of that is similar to women when they're in these situations of abuse. Like, yeah, this shit sucks while I'm in it right now, but it could get 10 times worse if I do this. You know what I mean? So it's like you can deal with the drunken behavior or whatever you want to pacify it as. Like, you can deal with that, but the unknown could sometimes be a little bit more frightening than what you're used to expecting. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it still sucks, and it's easy for us on the outside to be like, "Yo, you need to leave,"
right?
But now leaving multiplies that situation. Like Chuck said, you get up and pat him on the back. 2 days later, she's catching it worse than she did Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And all this is built around familial relationships, right? And kind of understanding when it's a time for checks and balances versus when it's a time to say, yo, man, enough is enough. I can no longer have you in my space. Let me give you a third example. A third example is 90% of Black families have one. We had a drunk uncle in the back, right? He got the Jack Daniels under the bed when he's not supposed to. Like, it's his regular thing. Every day that ends in Y, he drink 2 bottles and think it's water. It don't even affect him anymore at this point in life, right? Of course, he hasn't lived on his own in 10 years. He hasn't worked in 15. He bounces from grandma's to uncle's house to auntie's house because he has nowhere else to go. He's blowing through relationships. He's this nigga, right? He's providing no structural value to the family on any levels. His life is drinking. Here's the rub. When he drinks, turns into the nastiest motherfucker. Physically, he wants to start arguing and yelling with aunties. You know what I mean? He's this nigga now, all of a sudden, right? When he's not on the bottle, the nicest nigga you could have ever met.
Mm-hmm.
You did? You're reminded of why you love this nigga. You're reminded of when you were 7 and this nigga was the coolest dude out. You're reminded when he's not.
Church.
Problem is, most of the time he is. When do you go from, hey dog, have some water, my nigga? When do you go from that to, hey man, I can't have you in my life no more? Because when you transform, things is different. What happens then?
Then you walk away with the guilt of, like, if something happens to him, how's that gonna make you feel? If you walked out of his life at a point when he may have needed you most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, yeah, you know, like, it's, I guess each situation is different, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I would want to at least try to find help or something, you know what I mean? At least if I did walk away, knowing that, at least try to do more before, you know, something else happened. I mean, I try to get him to AA. I try to do something for him to help him out. You know what I mean? I just didn't totally say, yo, just abandon him. Because then again, if something happens, then I gotta live with that right there. And that's tough.
We all seen Training Day.
Yep.
Right? Now put this drunk uncle in Denzel's shoes. We saw what happened to Denzel at the end of the film, right?
Mhm.
Community stepped up and was like, all right, you've been doing this way too long, yo. It's enough is enough. They didn't have his back no more. It's got to come to a point where we got to get back to that. I'm not sure what that looks like, but if you ain't got nobody to go to, because everyone's like, nah, you ain't bringing that whirlwind over here to me. What's left? You see what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like Rich said, that's family. Like you never want to give up, right? And I firmly believe in that. I think what happens is you can never relegate a nigga to the streets. And somebody with these kind of tendencies, there's only one way the story ends, right? You end up homeless in the streets, trying to figure it out. Black families, if there's a couple things that we're good at managing our family structure and absorbing our family traumas, quote unquote, right? Like we all know the negative entities within our family, and we all have become masters at keeping that in-house and protected.
For sure.
So that the world doesn't judge us
For
because
sure.
of that.
For sure.
You dig?
Yep.
And so I'm never going to say, Pain, you gotta let that nigga be homeless and let him figure it out on his own because you gotta learn from life lessons. I'm never gonna say that. Never. On the other hand, now we're 15 years in of pacifying and enabling this motherfucking behavior.
Yeah.
To what end? Right. And Rich asked the question, how do we push change? That's the question.
It's hard. And this particular situation kind of hits home for me because I lost an uncle when I was younger. Like I think I was like 7 or 8 when he passed. And he was a heavy drinker, and that's how he died. His liver basically exploded, right? And that's where like the start of my never wanting to drink liquor came from, right? So I do think about sometimes like, what if I was older then? How would I have handled it? I don't think I could have turned my back on him because I would have felt guilty that he passed away from the drinking and I turned my back on him. You know what I mean? So, but I think it was Susanna said it earlier. You gotta AA or NA and you gotta show tough love. Like listen, I need you to go. I love you. I need you to go to rehab. Like this is not good. You're not drinking responsibly. You're a whole nother person. It's affecting me. It's affecting the family. It's affecting your health. Like, you know what I mean? You got to get them there, like, somehow.
But here's the kicker, Payne. Here's the kicker. And like I said, we all know these examples, whether it's an aunt, uncle, nephew, whatever it is. We all know that this motherfucker don't think nothing's wrong. And not only that, most of the times, they don't remember what you're talking about.
Right.
Nigga, you just had a spectacular event last night. You broke 6 of my glasses, 3 chairs, a partridge, and a pear tree. I did what? Forget it, nigga. Right? And so now we gotta go to AA. I don't want to go to AA. I don't have a problem. You can't force somebody to do what they don't want to do. You can't admit niggas who don't want to be admitted. They come home the next day with the same problems, right? This might be, because this is so rampant in the hood, this is, I don't want to say it's part of the fabric, but we're close, right? Because all of us can relate to something like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's home for me as well. I lost 2 grandfathers.
Yeah.
My uncle now is a drinker. My only grandparent left is calling the other son. You can say as much as you want to, but what can you do? This topic. Which is
That's
preaching
all.
tonight.
Listen,
It's
we
all
all
rich.
been there, Rich. Rich, we
Yep.
all been there, bro.
It's all
Right.
good,
We
bro.
all been there.
It's all good. Yeah,
We
bro.
all been there.
Even
the
if it
forum to
wasn't
talk
a
about
family
it.
member, it might have been a friend. Like I grew
might
up with
have
a
been a
friend
friend.
that just became a rampant drunk, and we all tried to help him like as much as we could. Nothing happened. He went away to rehab, and every time he would come back from the rehab to the neighborhood, he would, is it fall back off the wagon, or I forget what
I
the
don't
phrase.
know. I can't tell which is which.
Yeah.
Yeah, so whatever it was, he would go back to drinking. So we got to the point where we wanted him to stay away. You know what I mean? Like for his own good.
Yeah.
So,
I'm dealing with a situation now. I got a relative that's been behind the wall maybe longer than he's been not behind the wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And over the years, I've watched relatives one by one turn their back.
Mm.
And I'm like, I get it. Because if not, you're enabling him by continuing to whatever, right? But then you realize it's like, oh, I'm the last one left that hasn't rather turned their back. And I'm just like, I don't know.
Here's the hard part. That's
tough, man. That's tough. I couldn't do it. I don't know.
Here's the thing, Chef.
I don't know if I can walk away in that situation. Being the last one left. That's a heavy burden to hold on to, you dog. That's a heavy burden, because the guilt that you will feel if you join the line of everybody else and walking away, the guilt you will feel from if something happens, and like again, the person is saying, "Yo, cuz you all I got left." Like I don't care, man. We just till the wheels fall off. We just gonna whatever happens, happens. I'm gonna still try to give you guidance. I'm still try to help you out. I'm gonna still try to do whatever it is possible I can. But I in that scenario, I could not see myself saying, well, everybody else done turned their back. Now I'm turning. I can't. Fuck it. It's just I'm gonna be the only one left on the island by myself. But I can't do that. I'm not built like that.
There's a story of one of these old like 60s soul groups, one of these men groups, right? I can't remember the name of it, but the story is seared into my head, where there was a group of 4 or 5 of them, like normally back in those days, and one of them got mixed up with drugs and got locked in on coke and heroin or whatever the fuck he was on. And they told him, like, dog, we can't do music with you no more. Like,
the Temptations? Is that the Temptations?
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
We can't do music with you no more, bro.
It sounds like the Temptations.
Could be. You fucked up. You missing shows. You doing it. We love you, but you fucked up. Go get some help. Come back. He goes away for a week. Come back. Hey, yo, I'm feeling great. Don't worry, your man's back. He back on the drugs again, right? So, but here's how the story took the turn. Is once he realized nobody else was fucking with him, that shit put him over. And he OD'd because I ain't got nothing else to live for now. The last niggas I had, my last vesture of love, they turned on me, right? And I think what you'll find from most drinkers and drug users, a lot of that's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And the last thing you want to do is pull somebody's trigger emotionally when these are their vices. Right?
Yep.
When my wife makes me mad, I go play Division. Get the fuck away from me. Right? I'm in the playing Division for 2 days. Right? I go overdose on what my vice is. These niggas overdose on a totally different situation.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be the one getting the call on a Tuesday afternoon. This is what happened because you just told him I can't deal with you anymore on Sunday.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, some Sparring Minds, like, we use this platform, and I think if you've tuned in for any of these 163 episodes, and you've been subscribed to the channel,
subscribe, YouTube, subscribe.
You know that we spend most of these episodes laughing and joking, making fun of Sammy's hairline, making fun any line of things we normally.
Chuck trying to cook, you know what I mean, like all that type of stuff.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But there are times on this show when we just have grown man bars.
You have to.
For sure.
And this is just one of those shows because we find that when dealing with bloodlines, when dealing with family, we have a lot of unspoken stories that affect all of us. And sometimes due to bravado, due to old grandma rules about what happens in the house stays in the house, whatever these rules are, we don't talk enough about them.
Yep.
And so when you have a platform such as ours, with over 1,000 subscribers, I think is the last time I looked at our YouTube content, and I think it's important to have some of these serious conversations and let other people kind of chime in on what's happening in their real life as well.
No, definitely.
100%.
Absolutely.
There's some unforgivable stuff that I think you could cut people off for, like someone that's a murderer, someone that touches kids.
Whoa, go back. Kids, I'm not. That's a
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about. Let's talk
absolutely.
murderers real quick. Self-defense.
You can't put a blanket on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying self-defense is different. Like if you have to kill someone to defend yourself, then that's different.
Self-preservation, yeah.
Somebody that's just murdering, like
So
for no reason, like I mean,
just out. So we were talking earlier about this whole killing ops thing. Like,
yep.
Why are you out there doing that? Why are you in that? You know what I mean? Like, so, and they got
Robin Hood.
They got like 5 bodies. You know what I mean? So not all of that self-defense.
Agreed. So retribution doesn't fall in your line of because you were going down the path of forgiveness versus not, right? That's kind of where you were going.
Yeah, like there's certain things that are just it's unforgivable or like really hard to forgive.
Kids is a guaranteed one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely not.
So that means like I no longer fuck with you. I don't even know who you are.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's guaranteed, right?
Yep.
I think if you put hands on your girl, you're in the same conversation with.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I don't fuck with you no more. Like that's not even a line of yo, what happened? Right? It's not that. It's once I find that out and then I find it out to be true, I no longer fuck with you. And I think my third is
Wow. Damn, Rich. Sorry to hear that, bro.
Man, yeah, that's
rough. Also,
but you know what though? I heard a story like that about someone who I know that got killed a few years ago. And I won't say the name, but I'll just like the script, like a really popular basketball player that got killed a few years ago. Unfortunately, he was going to defend his cousin. He was going to defend. I don't think these are the same things, Rich. So I hope I'm not speaking out of terms, but like that's crazy. If your loved one would even call you into a situation like that where that's the possibility. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
isn't that what we were taught when we were younger though? Let's again.
I know, but But at those times though, it was for a fight, whereas like, you know, where you would live another day when you know it's a possible when someone could be killed. I don't think as a kid you were thinking that someone's gonna be killed when you called your big cousin. Did you think someone's gonna be killed?
We grew up in the 90s, bro.
All right. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
It was just starting
Good
around
point.
then.
Good point.
Just starting around then. Yeah,
But I'm talking about teenage. I'm talking about just teenage years, and I mean like early middle school and stuff like that.
Well, I think whether that was the norm or not, there was a level of fear in that. Because, for example, I'm the oldest of 5, right? I always told my sis, you got a problem, call me. So it's always like, I'm gonna call my brother.
Yep.
It's one or the other, right? It's like, you know, you can call my bluff, or it's like, okay, well, she got an older brother. I don't want to know what that's about. You see what I mean?
Yep.
But see, I lived on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, as you know, right? I lived on that opposite end of the spectrum. Like in my family, me coming through middle school and early high school, like I was totally square, right, to all of this kind of stuff.
Same.
All I cared about was basketball and video games. I promise.
I'm still
And
square.
wrestling, right? So, if I went to high school and my whole family was there, right, and at family gatherings, they would all say, "Yo, Charles, if you ever have a problem, tell us, and we'll figure it out. We'll handle it." And that happened on multiple occasions, right? Because I was kind of square, right? And 2 days later, they figured it out and they handled things. I never had those problems again. So again, but in my family, this is how it might be different than yours. In my family, my cousins would get in trouble if I had issues and they didn't come solve it, because that's what they did. That was their function, right? We had an ingrained community where it was, if there are individuals behind you, you make sure you're there and you stand up for them. You see what I'm saying? And that was done for me. We ended up doing it for siblings coming and cousins coming behind us. It was just the culture of what we were supposed to do, is what we were taught.
Yeah.
See,
Same here for me.
I was the total opposite end of the spectrum. Like, I would always be the last person told something because everyone was scared of my reaction. So they would handle it and then come get me. Like, what am I going to do now? Nothing. That's why we waited to tell you. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I mean,
it goes, but see, now go back to your original point when we first started the show about the hood does loser shit, or whatever that statement was, right?
Yeah.
The hood glorifies loser shit.
Yeah.
What we're talking about right now is probably hood logic, right?
Definitely.
I don't think it's loser logic at all.
No. Nope.
It's born in protecting your village.
Yeah.
That's what it's born in.
Yep.
It's born in old gladiator talk, right? Like,
yep.
No, this is my house. We protected my house, right?
Yep.
These same cousins, they had to come to my crib for barbecues on Saturday. Your plate's a little bit different, right? If you didn't handle things the way you're supposed to handle them, right?
No corn on the cob for you. You get the nip.
Get you the fuck out of here.
No big piece of chicken.
Nah. So, listen, man. I know I got kind of dark. I got kind of heavy, but these are necessary.
Nah, definitely. Definitely necessary.
And just for context, there's no one right answer to solving any of these problems, right?
Sure, absolutely not.
There's always going to be a different solution for a different scenario. Just be smart about the decision you're making, man, and just be easy out there, man, because it's getting rougher than it was when we were coming up. It's gotten.
I'm about to say shit. It's been rougher for a minute now.
Yeah, again, man. But again, this is why we got this platform, to try to provide some sort of, conversation, guidance, whatever the case may be about it. You dig? I hear you, Rich.
163 in the books. Sparring Minds listeners, shameless plug. Go like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube page as always. Hightower, what's on the schedule for next week?
Network.
What's next week?
Is it network already?
No.
No. First of the month.
We did first of the month already.
No Bone Thugs and Harmony. Well, I'm just saying what the date is next week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The day after Halloween. Yo, we didn't even dress up for Halloween this year.
I know. We're sorry. That's bad on us.
I might dress up like Pops next week again.
Here you go.
We didn't do voting. We gotta talk about voting a little bit. We'll do that next week.
There's something wrong with you, dog.
I think next week we probably should. It's the last time we can before before the election comes and goes. Yeah.
So we'll have some fun next week. Sparring Minds listeners, we'll catch y'all 7 days from now.
That should be interesting, because there's a thing going around that black men don't want to vote for Kamala. So
we gotta dive into that one.
Don't get me started.
Yo.
Save it.
Tame it. Hold it.
I will say this though.
Hold it down.
Our boxing season 2 is coming.
Yes, it is.
And this Sunday, since we doing shameless plugs, then this Sunday, Grove Hall, episode 5. We got the Land of the Giants. So make
Sure.
sure you tune in 7
The network.
p.m. this Sunday.
Yeah.
Network is kicking off.
Yeah, the network is definitely taking. I ain't talking about the $2 million money tournament that happens in the summertime. I'm talking about turnbuckle talk, baby. You dig?
Sir.
Ah,
Yes, sir.
in the books.
Yes, sir.
Sammy Little.
See y'all next week.
Have some grog. You know what I mean? On me, man.